Hi there, beautiful souls. Welcome back, or welcome to The Hawk. And my name is Lana Zelinsky, and I work in the spirit dimensions. I'm talking a little bit today about ancestors. And as always, in all my videos, please take what resonates, and you're welcome to leave the rest right here. It didn't all start with you. We all have a history of ancestors, and some of us know our history way back, and some of us don't. And not only is our genetic makeup handed down to us through our ancestors, and not only is it family traditions or perhaps collectibles or ways of living or ways of thinking, ancestral trauma is also handed down to us through our genetics. And there is actually scientific evidence that ancestral trauma is passed down to us genetically. Now, that doesn't mean that we are doomed by our ancestral trauma or that ancestral trauma is here with us to stay. We can break cycles and we can heal trauma that is handed down to us throughout the generations. And this is a fascinating topic, one that I have spent a fair bit of time studying and understanding. I've also tapped into working with ancestors over on the other side to help give me an understanding. Now, in ancient times, ancestral healing was done on a fairly regular basis, and it's just been over the more recent times that we've gotten away from healing ancestral trauma. Ancestral trauma can be a wide variety of things. It can simply be a way of thinking. It can be addiction or behaviors that were handed down. It can also have a very secretive twang to it. Sometimes it's not talked about. It hasn't been discussed, the secrets of the past. And that has kind of left a little bit of a void in how we became who we are today through our families, because sometimes people were extremely embarrassed or shamed about their ancestors and the things that they may have done. One of the greatest things to kind of give you a deeper understanding is remembering, yes, those ancestors are part of you, but that doesn't necessarily mean you are their past. Our ancestors were here on their own learning journey, their journey of learning and their journey of healing. And we often pass that down throughout the generations because there hasn't been a lot of healing or a lot of understanding or a lot of compassion or empathy or forgiveness throughout the generations. And quite often it is a big word, forgiveness. There are a lot of things, a lot of traumas that have been very dark. There are a lot of times for people that they may not have understood. There's also a lot of behaviors that have been passed down or old thought processes. For example, I have a long family history of addictions. Therefore, I have an addiction. You can break those cycles. You can heal the trauma from your ancestors by a very, very, very simple and loving technique. You can connect with them. And I know many people will struggle with, well, I need a medium to do that, and I need to do this to do that. But there is a very simple way of connecting with them. Our ancestors over in the spirit dimensions do want what's best for us. They do want us to learn from their lessons. They do want us to heal from their trauma, from their poor decision making, or from the point that they were at on their journey. And a lot of their ancestral trauma was handed down to them as well through difficult times or whatever their own personal situations may be. They were handed that to them, and they didn't have the tools to heal it when they were here in the physical world. But our ancestors in the spirit dimensions are coming forward in a profound number to kind of help us in this generation to heal the trauma that's been passed down. Now, what I first personally started doing to understand and connect with the ancestors, I would simply sit with them. And they weren't just all my ancestors, they were ancestors overall, ancient people or people that have been gone for several generations, to sit and talk with them. And what I would do is I would quiet my mind. And very simple meditation, just quieting my mind, getting myself to a place of unconditional love without judgment. And I light a candle. And I ask for ancestral teachers to come forward and to help me understand their trauma and understand the healing. And I'm also very clear that I no longer want to pass on any unhealed trauma. And I also want to heal any unhealed trauma that perhaps may be within me. And sometimes it's very simple thought processes. For example, in our family, we've always had to work hard and never get anywhere. Hard work never pays off for our family. Sometimes it can be a thought that kind of keeps people in that space of not being able to move forward. So even a thought of this has always happened to our family. Nobody ever goes to college in our family. And it's handed down and it's ingrained and it's ingrained and it becomes deeper and deeper and it gains momentum. Being the person that says, well, that's going to stop with me. No matter what you've walked in your own journey, no matter the healing that you've already had to go through, because we all have healing. And the word healing itself means very different things to many different people. The healing journey means many different things. When I sat with the ancestral trauma and asked them to teach me and to take me in deeper, what came up over and over again is it may be what's been taught to you and shown to you or handed over to you, but that doesn't mean that that ancestral trauma can't be healed, and you can stop it from continuing to go forward. With working with the ancestors from the spirit dimensions and being able to call on them and ask them for help, or to give them some understanding and some healing. And even if it is something that you are struggling with letting go of or forgiving, just simply sending your love into to them to bridge that space of trauma, being able to bridge it. Now, there are many healers that do a lot of ancestral trauma work. There are a lot of Reiki people or people who work with cleansing chakras. There are mediums that can be the bridge to helping you understand and communicate. But understand, and therapists, let's get, there are a lot of therapists that do specialize in ancestral trauma healing. But the basics, the 101 foundation is for you to grab onto it no longer continues beyond me, and healing it from where you stand and from going forward from where you're at, and for being grateful for the lessons and the learning in their journey. In history we're meant to learn from, we're meant to grow from, we're meant to evolve from. We're not meant to sit in it, to sit in the unhealed aspects of what truly isn't who you are. And, it fascinates me with the repeat of history through the generations. And, and I mean this very lovingly, when we agree to stand in our own truth with, yes, this is part of what's been handed to me, but it doesn't mean that I have to walk the same journey as the people that came before me, with what they were learning to heal and what they were learning to process and what their journey was all about. Being able to surrender, let go, and heal ancestral trauma is a bit of a process, and it does take some work. If this is a topic of interest for you, if ancestral trauma is sparks an interest, start by sitting with it. Start by feeling what's mine and what's not mine. And if you're unsure, if this is completely new to you, map out a family tree the best you can. Mom, dad, grandparents, great grandparents, if you have that information, and look for patterns. Write personality traits that you either know of or had heard about, and see if you can see the pattern. And does that pattern repeat itself into your journey, into your life? I even firmly believe, and spirit has shown me, that even health stuff that has been passed on from generation to generation, some of that, not all, but some of that is unhealed trauma. We do hold certain energies and experiences within our bodies, and we can pass that on. It is a fascinating topic, and I know this video has just kind of skimmed the surface of ancestral trauma. But if you want a good read, there is a book called It Didn't Start With You by Mark Wolin, I believe, is the author of that. It was the first book that I read that kind of sparked my interest in tapping into some ancestral trauma. Calling forward your ancestors, sitting with them, just asking questions and feeling for the answer, sending them healing, sending yourself healing, understanding that it can stop with you. You can break cycles energetically, and you can have the most profound healing. And if you're interested, finding a reputable healer that or therapist that can help you work through and navigate through some of the ancestral healing, I do hope that this brought you some more knowledge, something else to think about. And as always, I am wishing you so much love, light, blessings, and a spirit guided day.